What's going on, guys? My name is Bryce. I don't really post too much on YouTube or any social media for that matter, but I'm trying to change it up a little bit. So here's a little raw video while I'm taking a drive home because, might as well, work 9 to 5, that typical crap. So I'm gonna try to spice it up a little bit. So this is gonna be raw, so I apologize for any stutters because I tend to get really bad at that when I'm trying to put a thought together. But yeah, so this video is basically gonna be things to know before you decide to buy a Dodge Charger or Challenger SCATPACK 392. And I will say that this could definitely apply to just the Hemi, the 5.7 as well, because I have driven those before. A good friend of mine actually owns that as well. So I would say this applies, but definitely more keened in on the fact that it's a 392 video only. So let's get right into it. So this is gonna be completely raw. This is gonna be everything that I have determined while driving this car for a good 3 years now. It's pricey. So we'll get started on the first thing, which is gonna be the gas and the amount of gas that you're gonna have to put into it. Now, a lot of people typically assume when they get this car that they're gonna have to put a good amount of money into it, right? As far as gas goes, especially with the gas on the rise, that's even more that you gotta put into it, which is unfortunate, but inflation and Bidenflation, sorry. But I don't think people that want to buy these cars actually understand how much a month you're going to spend on this, because you have to put premium, or you should put premium in this car. So premium can definitely run you up a little bit. Gas is on the lower end at the moment, so it's not terrible, and it also depends on what state you live in. But around me, gas sits about $3.19 if I get it near where I work, which is in St. Louis. So if I get gas for about $3.19, I'm looking to spend anywhere from about $150 to $250 on gas, depending on how much I actually drive places. And that's pretty often. I'm young, I'm 21, so I'm always out going to parties, hanging out with friends, just doing what things 21-year-olds do, man. So be prepared to spend money. Oil changes, rotations, and if something does happen to go wrong, which, they're pretty reliable cars, but if something goes wrong, so expect to pay a hefty fine for that. So we'll get right into number two. One of the things that most SCATPACK, Hellcat, Demon owners and stuff can definitely relate to is the police. Now, I say the police, and some of you may think that that's not really that big of an issue, but it definitely is. So say you're on an interstate, right, or a highway, and some car pulls up next to you, some little Honda Civic shooting flames out the back and stuff, and you want to race, right? Well, your car, 9 times out of 10, if you drive these, is going to be louder, or should be louder. It's going to draw way more attention, even if you're just driving the speed limit, which we all know. Nobody that owns these cars likes to drive the speed limit. That's not fun. You didn't buy the car to go slow. But you're going to draw a lot of attention. Cops will actually follow you to see if you are going to speed. It's almost like being on a sports bike. For any of you guys that ride sports bikes out there, it's like they're just waiting for you to hammer it so they can get you. They will do that a lot. And actually, if somebody is speeding ahead of you, like say you're going with the flow of traffic, you can't use that excuse if you get pulled over. They will pull you over a car, like maybe say a little Prius, that's going the same speed limit as you, you're just following them. They will pull you over first, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's the nice car, it attracts them, or it's easier to get a ticket off on you because you're driving that type of car. I'm not too sure why, but just beware of cops. That is number one. Like that should have been the first one I mentioned. Like cops they're out there and they're coming for you, man. Especially when you cold start and it's popping and stuff, they're gonna be out there for you. Number 3 is gonna be mods and warranty. I would say, yeah, mods and warranty, we'll go with that. So if you mod certain parts on this car, and this goes for any car for that matter, if it voids the factory warranty, you no longer have like a cheap means to fix the car. And like I said previously, putting money into this car with parts and problems is expensive. It can rack up a hefty bill. So if you void the warranty like most people do, just be prepared to pay the price for it. But on a positive note, mods are pretty much what makes this car this car. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do so much to the exhaust, you can do so much to the interior, the exterior. mods are pretty much what makes a Dodge muscle car the Dodge muscle car. Like, sure, they come stock looking clean, sounding nice, but man, some of the mods that you can do to these things is insane. I haven't even begun to do any of the really cool looking mods, or even, you know, even performance mods for that matter. I've only done slight work, so there's so much you could do. The ceiling is way up there as far as you can go for mods. So if you're willing to void the warranty, go for it. Shoot for the stars. It's going to be really fun in the process. That brings me to number 4. Let me see my little notes here. So the number 4 is more on the negative side, I'm going to say. Number 4 happens to be, you're going to want more horsepower eventually. And I've kind of found that that's what I wanted a little bit after I had this car for, I'd say, maybe a year. After I did all the performance work and I kind of felt a little bit more power that I had gained from those, I definitely was, you know, kind of fiending for more. And, you know, you sports bike lovers out there can definitely relate to that. You get on a 600cc, maybe 6 months in, you're like, man, I want 1000cc. You know, it's got some kick being in 1000. So you'll go from a SCATPACK and wanting a Hellcat. That is the only problem I would say with actually owning one of these cars, is that you definitely want to have more, because there's that time where you're going to go up against somebody with a supercharger and a Ford Explorer like I did and get your ass kicked. It happens, but it hurts the ego a little bit. You know, like, you think you're the fastest car out there on the block, and that's not the case, man. That's not the case. So you just want a little more oomph. I mean, you can slap a, you know, 7 pounds of boost in this thing, but you got to upgrade the back end. You gotta do a lot of work to make 7 pounds of boost in this thing work. And it's almost at that point where it's just getting a Hellcat and doing some work to a Hellcat. So anyways, that is probably one of the negative topics I would say with this car. We'll get right on to number 5. Number 5 is going to be, the noise isn't crazy. Now, take that with a grain of salt. Noise, I feel like noise is very dependent on who you're talking to, because you could have somebody that drives this car stock, for example, right? And if they're driving it stock, they may think that it sounds really nice, and, you know, more power to you. Get the car, noise shouldn't be an issue. But then you have people like me who grew up on drag racing strips and stuff, and pretty much drag raced as a young kid. I absolutely love noise. I almost would prefer loud noise over power. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So if you're like me, I feel like the noise in these cars are just not comparable to, say, Mustangs, for example. Even if you go catless, I feel like the noise just doesn't compare, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's something that I'm doing wrong, or maybe something that I could be doing to the car that I'm not. But even with, like, say, Corsa performance exhausts, they can make the car sound really loud and really nice, but I feel like it still just doesn't quite compare to Mustangs. And I'm not even a Mustang lover. It's just, I've heard some Mustangs on the roads, like some Shelbys, and they don't sound the same. They kind of drown my car out, even from like a really far distance away, and I'm not sure why, because mine's catless as well, and I don't know, it doesn't seem to be that loud unless I really get into it. So take that with a grain of salt, because it's very opinion based and bias based, I would say, on what noise you prefer. Like, some people like just a lower rumble, some like the cam sounds where it's very choppy, some don't like too much sound at all. So that's very opinion based. Take with that information as you will. I'm just trying to get all the information out that I can from driving this car myself. The next topic I'm gonna say is probably just try to enjoy the car while you can and you have the freedom. I honestly gotta say that, like, if you're on an open road and there are no cars around you, like, I never get that lucky. I take 270 in Missouri, and 270 is crazy busy, especially at the times you're getting off every day, so I don't have a lot of opportunity to hammer it. But don't let the whole cop situation scare you off from having fun with the car, because even if you do get pulled over, there are some cops out there that are really nice people just doing a job, and they understand that this car's fast and you just want to go fast, and you know, you want to enjoy it, you want to have that thrill. So don't be afraid to be a little obnoxious with the car. I mean, you didn't buy this car to be a luxury item. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not cheap by any means, but it's also not, you know, it's not a Chiron like a Bugatti. It's nothing like that. It's not a collector's item. Or it might be, you know, 2023, they're bringing stupid electric ones, sound like a lawnmower. We'll get into that in another video. But anyways, that is all I have for you guys. I just wanted to be very transparent, make a really raw video, kind of like I'm just talking to my phone, which is really what I'm doing. But I wanted to let y'all know my opinions on having this car, maybe some things that you guys should know before actually owning the car. And yeah, I'll get right out of it. I'll let you guys have a wonderful day. I just wanted to be very transparent on the Dodge Charger 392 and Challenger. So with that being said, y'all have a lovely rest of your day. Be safe out there. It's been Bryce, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.